Hey guys, so in this video, I'm going to explain how we frame one of our walls. This wall right here is a 16-foot wall, and we're going to make it look like this wall right here. It's also going to include the same window, a 3x3 window. So as you can see, it's 16 feet, and as you can see, we already marked our studs. They're going to be 16 inches centered apart. That's what the red numbers on the tape mean. And then we also marked the very middle of 16 feet, which is 8 feet, and that's where our window is going to go. The window is a 3x3 window, so 36 inches by 36 inches. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna split 36 inches in half, which comes out to 18. And from our mark, we're gonna mark a line. That's gonna be the start to our cripple and then our stats. And then we're gonna do that on the other side as well. So where the 3 feet end up. So it's cripple and then stats. I did also want to point out that for our stat, we cut it to 7 1.5. The reason for that is because of the bottom plate and the two top plates, they end up having the sheet 1.5 below the bottom plate and about 4 inches above the top plate. We do this in order to use the whole sheet. Okay, so now I'm gonna start nailing the wall. First, I'm gonna make my corner, my esquina. Some people do use 3 studs instead of having to put a piece of wood in the middle, but I prefer to save it. Now I'm going to nail the corner to the bottom plate. I always make sure everything stays flush on both sides. And the same thing for the studs. Okay, so now we're on the cripple and the stats. Those have to go together. We had to cut the cripple to 77 inches. And now I'm putting them where the marks are at. I do want to point out that if you're going to be doing this, to make sure your hand's not so close to where you're going to be nailing. Okay, so now I'm doing the other corner. Now I'm going to nail the top. It's the same thing as the bottom. When you mark your lines for your studs, make sure that the plates are together and that you're flush on both sides so you know that your lines are going well together. This is where the header for our window is going to go. I did want to show you guys that the window is 36 inches, so for a header, it has to be 39 inches. I know I probably will get a comment for this, but I wanted to point out how I'm making the header. I don't actually make the header on the ground as I'm building the wall. I do that once the wall's already up. So as you can see, I just nailed a 2x4. A header is like a sandwich. It's a 2x4, then a piece of plywood, and then another 2x4. But I prefer to assemble this at the very end. We just finished with the top of the window. Now we're going to be doing the bottom of the window. These are the bottom cripples. For this measurement right here, it's going to be 39.5. These are going to be holding what is called a sill, basically what holds the window up. To make sure that my bottom middle cripple ends up straight, I measure from the king stud to it and I push it to that same measurement on top. And as you can see, our measurement is 36 inches and 36 inches. Now what we're going to do is make sure that the wall is squared. I believe this part is really important because if it's not squared and you just put the window just like that, it could come out really, really crooked and you'll end up seeing it really bad from the inside. I know some of you guys have asked, how do we square our floors? And I'm about to show you how we do that. So the measurement from that corner to this corner is 212 and 1/4. We have to make sure that from corner to corner, both numbers are the same. Okay, so now I kicked it and it's 211 now. Let's check the other side. And this side comes out to 212. So from 211 to 212, that's 1 inch apart. So we're gonna split that and give it half an inch. So 211 and a half. Let's check out this side. And now this side comes out to 211 and a half. And that's how you square it. Now we're gonna install the window. I always put caulking under the window to make sure that no water gets in at all. Now I'm gonna slowly put the window on. I always make sure that everything looks flush from the bottom and from the sides as well. Some people do use screws to screw on the window because it has holes, but I prefer to nail it on with my siding nailer. Now we're going to be installing the siding. This is the Smart Siding 3/8. On the bottom, it's going to be sticking out 1.5, and on the side, it's going to be completely flush. Now that we finished nailing the bottom, we're going to nail the top and make sure it's flush on the side. Remember how we had marked our studs every single 16 inches? Well, the reason for that is because the siding sheets, they have lines and they're at every single 16 inches. So now we know exactly where to nail. Now we're going to have to make a cutout for the window. This part might be a little bit hard to understand, but I'm going to try to explain it as much as I can. First, we're going to get our measurements. I'm measuring where the siding will overlap with the other siding and where it's going to hit the window. So for that measurement, we got 30.5. The way I mark my lines might be a little bit hard for you guys. So if this looks hard, just mark 2 lines 3 feet apart and then use a chalk line from there or a piece of wood to mark it. But this is how I do it. I slide my tape across the edge, and with my pencil, that's how I create a line. Now I'm going to get the bottom and top measurements for the window. So my tape is going to stick out 1.5 below the top plate. And for the first measurement, we got 44 1/4. And for the second measurement, we got 79 3/4. And now I'm going to mark it on the siding sheet. The first measurement was 44 1/4, and the second measurement was 79 3/4. And again, I'm going to use the same method that I used to mark the first line, where I slide my tape and mark it with a pencil like that. And now we're going to cut that part off with our circular saw. This siding sheet goes overlapped on the other siding sheet like this. And we're still making sure that we're doing 1.5 on the bottom. Now we're going to make the marks for the second sheet. So I had already remembered the measurements for the bottom and top of the window, which was 44 1/4 and 79 3/4. And now we're just gonna get the measurement from where the siding will overlap to the end of the window. And that measurement was 17.5. And now my friend is going to cut it off. And it should fit perfectly with the window. Again, I'm making sure that it's flush with the other sheet, and we're giving it 1.5 on the other side as well. Do you guys see how it overlaps? And that's pretty much it for cutting out the siding for the window. Everything came out very flush and squared. Now I already know the bottom, so now I'm gonna nail the top. I always make sure to slide it to where it goes. Now I'm gonna nail the last Smart Side sheet. Again, we're gonna make sure it's flush with the other siding sheet, and we're gonna give it the 1.5 on that side. And that's pretty much it to making the wall. This was a 16-foot wall with a 3x3 window. I hope you guys enjoyed my video. We are still not yet done with this project. We will probably be finishing it tomorrow. But yeah, I hope this video helps you guys out if you're ever gonna build a shed. I'm gonna keep posting. As you can see, the window came out pretty good. Everything came out pretty sealed. Thank you so much for watching my video, guys. Have a great day.